José Salazar Ruizesparza was born on June 28, 1926 in Aguascalientes, Mexico, and was the eldest of 14 children. His adolescence was very colorful. He was a weaver, a puppeteer, a boxer, a cockfight promoter, a bullfighter, in some occasions an actor, but always a painter. At the age of 13, he won a diploma and an honorable mention at the Feria San Marcos in his hometown of Aguascalientes. In 1946, he arrived in Mexico City, where he enrolled at La Esmeralda Art Academy as a part-time student. However, it was not until 1953 that he was able to enroll full-time and graduate with a degree as a painter and a sculptor. By 1955, he began exhibiting at the Jardín del Arte on Sullivan Street, a gallery founded by Salazar along with other fellow artists. In 1965, art collector and actor Vincent Price purchased some of his works, and in 1966, Salazar was included in the world-famous Vincent Price Art Collection exhibit at the Simpsons Gallery in Toronto, Canada. José Salazar left the Sullivan Park in 1968 and began his one-man shows in Mexico and throughout the world.
I like the color, the texture with the palette knife, and sometimes I am so nervous, then I want to draw. This is when I make the lithographs. Lithographs is different than this has texture with the palette knife. The lithograph has nothing, it's just only draw with one pencil.
Salazar is considered a classic artist of our time. He arrived at his own unique style, Salazarismo. He painted solely with a spatula. He adapted the chiaroscuro technique, the golden mean, the divine proportion. In short, everything that the great masters used, he had in his art.
And then I have to measure the size of the painting. This size, any size. So I have here the golden proportion because I multiply this part for special numbers. So this is not an accident that all my paintings come in this. But not only that, I measure this, and I have this one. Right. So this is here. You saw this map, this. Well, from here to there is a line, and from here there is a line. There is a line here.
He painted historical, biblical, esoteric themes, and many things that are mysterious and fantastical. He did not paint dramatic or tragic subjects. Instead, he sought to evoke happiness in his art. In order to achieve this, he focused on primarily bright and festive colors.
Mexico has a beautiful color in the life and everything. We live in a different parallel. So we have a beautiful color, and maybe much of my figures they are expressed in terms of Mexican life. But I am very interested in the mythology and the ancient things. So I use maybe the Mexican people, but I construct them like they have no place, no time. So they don't belong to here, they don't belong to this time. So I used to create them like different people from the ancient and the future.
Many of Salazar's works contain the essence of Mexico and its local color, but in his hands everything becomes more subtle, layered, and truly unique, something on a higher level. The subjects are situated in surroundings of merriment and gaiety and a festive and carnival mood. His works display precise composition and balance and an exquisite handling of color. When Salazar used red, he put the entire chromatic range of his color on canvas without any qualms whatsoever. He would add green to give an overall contrast. In his paintings, he would play, he entertained himself, especially when painting in watercolors. Yet, he would maintain technique or creativity. Everything he painted bared the mark of his own personal style.
To me, the expression of the faces are very important. It's only move. It's easy. If I tell you that only we move the eyebrows and the mouth. It's the only two things that we move. And with those two things, we give all the expression of sadness, of happiness, of anything can be expressed through the eyebrow. This is eyebrows or eyelashes? Eyebrows and the lips. That's all.
Looking at a Salazar painting is like watching the creation of life from an inanimate matter. Figures emerge mysteriously from a network of flashing electrical impulses and are lent form by converging patterns of light and color. Because Salazar's image has a distinct kaleidoscope quality, and because his pictures appear to be impressions of a fleeting moment, he has been called by some critics an impressionist, but it is a mistake to label Salazar's work impressionistic simply because of a surface resemblance to turn-of-the-century Parisian techniques. The differences are more numerous than the similarities. The Impressionists eliminated browns and blacks from their palettes because they were not spectacle colors. Salazar uses these colors frequently in his paintings. The Impressionists also consider themselves to be scientific realists, entirely objective painters who painted only the pure colors of the visible light spectrum, since form is perceived through the energy of light. Salazar's attitude toward light was similar, but his use of it was entirely subjective, almost purely expressionistic. In other words, if Salazar wanted to perceive a white building as being orange, he would paint it that way, whereas an impressionist would never dream of taking such liberties and would paint the building essentially white. The paintings of José Salazar exhibit a crystal clear delicacy that is truly unique among Mexican painters. When one visualizes modern Mexican art, what comes to mind are the powerful, massive forms, intense colors, and modernized pre-Columbian symbols of the great muralist. Salazar was a painter whose work seems to be diametrically opposed to what we think of as Mexican art. Closer examination of the content, however, both physically and spiritually, reveal that it is quintessentially Mexican. The essential ingredient of all Mexican art shines out of Salazar canvases, just as it shines through the haggard and emaciated victims in an Orozco wall painting.
Well, it's all the different of the mood. You know, sometimes we capture the powerful things, and others we capture the delicacy of the things. So this is when I am working, I have to receive and to feel what is the mood that I am going to paint. And this is why you can see big, vibrant colors and smooth colors like pastel. See, I have a few pastel, but I have a powerful colors in some of them.
The impression created on the canvas and the complex of subtle textures give an exquisite visual and tactical delicateness to the work of Salazar. Underlying all works with their splendid coloring is a rigorously executed drawing. Each picture is reworked more than 15 or 20 times until the whole effect is completely to the artist's satisfaction. For this reason, the spectator is caught up in this magical world and establishes a happy dialogue with the work in front of him as if it were a live being to be understood, fathomed, and enjoyed.